Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. And today I am going to do my top 30 songs of Elton John from the 1980s. And the reason I'm doing this, well, there's actually a couple of reasons. The first one was whenever I did my 10 best and 10 worst songs from my 10 favourite artists, and Elton John was one of them. I just concentrated on the 70s, and I think in one of the videos I said I'd maybe do a little video of him in the 80s. And another reason is I've been watching a lot of the videos by John Howes, a YouTuber. He's been going for about 4 or 5 years or so, and maybe 5 or 6. And he has actually ranked every single song of Elton John and from every album, and it gave an average score for each album. And I've been watching a lot of those videos of late. I'm going to put a link to John's channel below. I think he's in 800 and something subscribers. I'd love to see him get over the 1,000, but he goes into depth on all the songs. I'm just going to basically list them and tell you why I like them. In the 1980s, a lot of the established artists like your David Bowies, your Elton Johns, your Bob Dylans, Paul McCartneys were critically slammed because of the sound. They really struggled in the 80s, and I thought Elton did as well. But whenever I was playing a lot of these songs, I actually enjoyed a lot of these. And it is the time that I grew up with Elton, really, because I was buying Elton John albums in the 80s. I never bought one in the 70s. I was too young, really. So we're going to go through 30 tracks here, and they're not all singles, so there's quite a few LP tracks here. So we'll start off at number 30, and my number 30 is from the 1989 album, Sleeping with the Past, and it was a single called Club at the End of the Street. And this is a good little throwback to the 50s. It's got good backing vocals, it's got a bit of a doo-wop sound to it, and I think it's really good. And it was a double A side with a track called Whispers, which I might come back to. So that's now at number 30, is Club at the End of the Street. At number 29, and it is from the Ice on Fire album, and this is Soul Glove. And this has got a bit of a soul sound to it. There's horns in it. It's got a very, very catchy chorus to it. And I think it's one of the better tracks off this slightly disappointing album. But Soul Glove, yeah, from 1985, third track on side 1, is my number 29. At number 28, and we have from the 1983 album Too Low for Zero, and it's called Saint, or sometimes known as My Baby's a Saint. And this is Elton with almost like a falsetto voice, but it's a beautiful atmospheric song. It's slow to medium pace, closer to slow, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And it is the second last track on side 2, and I think this could have made a good single, but was never released. At number 27, another LP track, I'm going to Sleeping with the Past, the 1989 album, and it's the first track on side 2 called Stone's Throw from Hurtin', which I think's got a really, really good groove to it, really, and it starts off side 2 brilliantly for me. So yeah, very, very good track, Stone's Throw from Hurtin'. So at 26, and this was a single, and again it was from Too Low for Zero, and it's a double A side, and it's Cold as Christmas in the Middle of the Year. It's the opener to Too Low for Zero. It's a piano ballad. It's not a Christmas song. It's far from being a Christmas song. There's no Christmas sound to it. It's an actual July song, but Christmas is in the title, so don't get confused. It's not Christmas. But it's a really, really good piano ballad that opens up a decent album, Too Low for Zero. Okay, at number 25, and we have, I'm going to show the album here, and it is Sartorial Eloquence from 21 at 33 from 1980, and this is the second single off this, and it was, the lyrics were actually by Tom Robinson from the Tom Robinson Band. And yeah, again, it's a standard type Elton song with a big rousing chorus and very sort of easy listening verses. Really good. The chorus is, "Don't you want to play this game no more?" I think that's what it was called in America rather than Sartorial Eloquence. But a really, really good track from, again, a decent album. And at number 24, and we have the first single from Red Strikes Back, and it's I Don't Want to Go On With You Like That from 1988. And this is a weird one. This has got a really good groove to it, but it doesn't actually have a chorus. It's all the same throughout, but it is very catchy, and I think this was a top 5 hit in America, but it only managed number 30 here. So I Don't Want to Go On With You Like That is my number 24. And at number 23, and this album is been slaughtered, and it's from Leather Jackets, and it is the track I Fall Apart, which is the very last song on the album. And this is a very atmospheric ballad. It's absolutely beautiful with haunting, I think they're backing vocals, but it could be a synthesizer made out to sound like vocals, but it's really, really beautiful song. I've always loved this, and it gets my number 23. And at number 22, and we have, I think this was the third single from Breaking Hearts, and this is Who Wears These Shoes, and it was, I think it's the third track off the Breaking Hearts album. But this is a jaunty little number, and it sounds a little bit like a Motown type song. There are horns in it, and it goes at a decent pace. This is actually a remix version, which I haven't heard in years. I've only actually played the LP version, but there's not a lot of difference between them. So Who Wears These Shoes is my number 22. And at number 21, and it is from the Jump Up album, and it is the track Where Have All the Good Times Gone, which is the third track of side 2. Now this was remixed, and it's really the remix version I prefer, although I do like this version as well. The remix version is slightly rockier, and it became a B-side of one of the singles which is on this list, but I'll mention it whenever I come to it. But again, this has sort of got a Motown type feel to it, and this album itself is not bad. The side 2 is better than side 1 actually, but Where Have All the Good Times Gone is my number 21. And at number 20, and it is the B-side of Sartorial Eloquence, and this is the single, and it is White Man Danger, which should have been on 21 at 33. It has a little bit of a reminiscence of Billy Ocean's Is It Red Light Spells Danger, but this has got a bit of a sort of a sky reggae type sound to it. It's very contemporary for 1980. You could have heard other bands playing this, and I think this is really, really good, and it's a shame it was stuck nowhere at the B-side of a non-successful single. So White Man Danger is my number 20. At number 19, and we're coming to Red Strikes Back, and it is the track Japanese Hands, which is the last track on side 1. Again, another ballad, and this one again has got a very atmospheric chorus with the backing sound. Again, I'm not too sure if it's actually vocals or if it's an instrument, but it's an absolutely beautiful song. It is quite long, it's over 5 minutes, but I thought this could have been considered as a single, but it never was. So Japanese Hands is my number 19. And number 18 is a weird one because Gary Osborne writes the lyrics, but the music is by Jean-Paul Dréau, and it's Nobody Wins, and it's the opening single from the very good Fox album. And this has got a slight sort of a disco-y feel to it, but it races along beautifully, and Elton's voice, he's in fine form with this. And this was a very minor hit single. It should have done better, but still, it's a really good track. So Nobody Wins is my number 18. At number 17, and we go back to Leather Jackets again, and it's Hoop of Fire, which is the second song on side 1 after the dreadful title track. And this was an outtake, I believe, from Ice on Fire, and it would have been one of the better songs if it had been included in Ice on Fire. Yeah, there's sort of castanets in this as well, which lift it in the chorus. I think it's very good. Standard type Elton John song. So Hoop of Fire my number 17. Number 16, and we go back to Jump Up again. And this is Ball and Chain from side one. Now, this is an acoustic song. It's slightly reminiscent of Texan Love Song from Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player, but it's a little bit faster. And I believe this was a single in America. I think it's just a really good, catchy little number. And it is the best song on side one of this album. I've always enjoyed it. And I think maybe it could have been a single in the UK, but it wasn't. Okay, at number 15, and we go back to the Sleeping with the Past album, and it's the other side of Club at the End of the Street, and it's a track called Whispers, and this is a gorgeous, gorgeous ballad. I think this and Club at the End of the Street should have been split. I think they should have been two separate singles. I think they're both good enough to be singles. It's slightly reminiscent in sound of Sacrifice, which is no bad thing. It's a beautiful track. I think it's the third song on side one of Sleeping with the Past. So Whispers is my number 15. And at number 14, we shall go to Too Low for Zero. And it's the title track. And this is a very contemporary sound. There is a lot of electronics in this. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Lou Reed's New Sensations in sound. It's got that feel to it. And yeah, it's a very, very good song. And I don't know how often he plays this live, but it's worthy of being played live. So Too Low for Zero is my number 14. And at number 13, we have from the Breaking Hearts album. And this is from 1984, and it is in neon. And again, it's the type of Elton John song you expect. It's got the pretty big chorus with the great backing vocals. And I think a lot of thing that helps this is the fact that it is the Elton John band from the 70s that's singing in the background and playing. It's Dee Marie, Davy Johnson and Nigel Olsson. And yeah, it's a really good track. It ended up as the B-side of Breaking Hearts. It should have been the A-side because it is as good an Elton song as you can get in the 80s. So that's my number 13. Now, number 12 is one that a lot of people wouldn't expect, but I absolutely love this track. And it's Dear God from 21 at 33. It's a Gary Osborne written song. Yeah, it's very, very slow. And whenever I first heard this, I didn't actually like it. I actually bought this double pack way, way back in the day for something like 30p. It was going cheap in Smith's Records, and I got it home. And I liked all the other three songs, but I didn't like Dear God. But over time, this one I just think is absolutely brilliant. Again, it is very slow, it's very maudlin, but a really great track. So that's my number 12. And at number 11, and we are going to cheat big style here. The way I did with, was it Funeral for a Friend and Love Lies Bleeding, I'm actually going to pick three tracks that are stuck together, and they're actually one track on the CD, and that's Carla Etude, Fanfare and Chloe from the Fox. Now, Carla Etude is a beautiful piano instrumental, gorgeous, and then it goes into Fanfare, which sounds like a TV theme from the 1980s, but it's very short, and I think it actually works before you go into the gorgeous Chloe, which I think was a single in its own right in America. Wasn't over here, but put together, I think it's a masterpiece. And I remember having a Elton John book way back in the day, and it was just before the Fox was released. And he was saying that, you know, going forward, he'd like to do some sort of soundtrack work, you know, scores and so forth. Well, the Carla Etude Fanfare sort of points towards that direction, but that's only part of this album that really does. And then Chloe, a magnificent chorus in it, beautiful song. So that gets my number 11. And at number 10, it's not Princess, it's the B-side called The Retreat, which is a song about, I don't know if it's World War I or whatever war it is, but it is a war song. It's magnificent, and the backing instrumentation is wonderful, especially at the end. The instrumental backing at the end is superb. Now, I believe this was recorded during the Fox sessions. It then became the B-side of Princess from the Jump Up album, and then was put on the CD of Too Low for Zero in 1983. So the song, I think, originated from 81, released in 82, and then the CD version from the 1983 album. But it is absolutely fantastic, and it is my number 10. And at number 9, we're going back to the Fox again. And this 1981 album, and it is the title track, and it's a Bernie Taupin lyric, and it is superb, and there's harmonica and all in this. It is slow to medium paced, and it is it's a storytelling song, but it's brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant from a very, very underrated album. So it gets my number 10, or number 9, sorry. At number 8, and we have a big hit single from 1984, and it's Sad Songs Say So Much. And this is brilliant. Go to number 7 in the charts. It's the first single from the Breaking Hearts album. Very, very catchy, very reminiscent of the 50s. So an excellent Elton John single from 1984. And at number 7, we have Just Like Belgium from the Fox. It was the second single from the album, and it sank without trace. It's a Bernie Taupin lyric, and this is so jaunty. It's got an absolutely fantastic saxophone solo on it, and I absolutely love this. I don't understand how it wasn't a big hit. Maybe Elton just wasn't fashionable in 1981. I do not know, but it's my number 7. And at number 6, we have the huge hit, I guess that's why they call it the blues, from Too Low for Zero, and this really did bring Elton back. Although he had Blue Eyes the year before, it was this one, and then I'm Still Standing after it, that brought him back for real chart success and made him an incredible artist again in the public eye. But this is really good with great is a harmonica solo by Stevie Wonder. Brilliant song. And at number 5, we have what Elton John has described as his worst selling single ever, and it's All Quiet on the Western Front from Jump Up. This was the 4th single, and this is magnificent. It's nearly 6 minutes long, and it is a song about war, and there is a Christmas feel to this as well, which is probably to do with the little football match they had on Christmas Day. You know, that Paul McCartney showed in his Pipes of Peace video. But this is superb. It's really, really slow, but it's such a good song. And I don't think maybe it was a good enough choice for a single, like, because people are not going to buy that for Christmas, but I just absolutely love it. And this is the one that has the remix of Where Have All the Good Times Gone on it, which is a slightly more electric version. I think I prefer the version of that to the one in the album, but as I said, I do like both of them. And at number 4, we have Little Genie from 21 at 33, and this is just a simply stunning song. It's so easy to listen to. Again, the backing vocals are absolutely gorgeous. It's a Gary Osborne song, and this was a top 3 hit in America. It didn't manage the top 30 in the UK for some reason, but it is gorgeous, and it is my number 4. Now, number 3 is from Ice on Fire, and it's Nikita. Yeah, another great song, and I bought this whenever it came out, and then I bought the album thinking this would be very similar, but it's not. This is by far the standout track on that album, and it's got George Michael with backing vocals at the end, and a stunning video as well about like east-west divide. It's really, really good. So my number 3 is Nikita, and my number 2 is Sacrifice. I know this got to number 1 in 1990, but the single was originally released in 1989 from a Sleeping with the Past album, and it didn't get to number 1 actually until it was coupled with the first single from that album, which was Healing Hands. This was the second. But this is just a stunning love song. Okay, it's got a bit of a Lady in Red vibe to it, but I absolutely love it, and it's my number 2, which means my favourite Elton John song of the 1980s, and it's the tribute to John Lennon, and it's Empty Garden, and this is from Jump Up. And yeah, really good. I think that backing vocals again have a lot to do with how good an Elton John song is. I absolutely adore it, and this one builds and builds and builds, and it's by far the best tribute in my book to Elton John. So Empty Garden is my number one. Okay, so there's my top 30 Elton John songs of the 1980s. I know it went on a little bit, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to have another video quite soon. All the best now. Bye bye.